These kids must be the children of the mole and his wife. Isn't it awfully late for two kids this young to be out here by themselves? The older one can't be more than 10 or 11. These kids must be... Isn't it off... Hi, kids.
Hello, sir.
What are you up to?
We're doing target practice. We're going to be real good shots. Someday, we'll get those pigs who shot Dad.
How awful. These children must have seen the cleanup brigades shoot their father out there. Poor kids. And how is the target practice going?
Bad at the moment. We need a real target, or we'll never be able to hit those soldiers.
Yeah, we need a better target. Hey, quit talking to that rat. He's not one of us. You know what Mom and Dad say about the people in the camp. Leave my brother alone. Get lost, rat.
Yeah, you're not one of us. Get lost, rat.
Thank you. Now we'll really be able to become the best shots in the camp.
So now you're saying this rat isn't a rat?
No, I'm not. My name is Michael.
Hello, Michael.
So tell me, why do you want to throw rocks at those soldiers?
We have to get revenge. We're big boys now. And that's what we gotta do. Those pigs shot our dad. We heard him screaming. He's hurt real bad.
Mom said we'll never see him again.
Damn pigs! My brother and I are gonna get them. All of them.
But when they were Dad's friends, you used to say you wanted to be a soldier when you grew up.
Shut up. That was before. I wish I could reach those watchtowers with my rocks.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
That's not a bad idea. Something tells me that a little commotion along the barbed wire fence would be a good thing for everyone. It's pretty late for kids like you. What are you doing out in the street at this hour?
Hey, we're not kids. We have to practice our marksmanship. Our mom gets real mad when we do it inside the house. It's not like we have anywhere else to go in this dump.
Nowhere else to go? So you don't go to school? Don't you have any friends from school?
There is no school. Not since the explosion.
Our mom says we don't need it anyway. We're big boys now, and someday we'll be very important people in the camp. Just like our dad. That's why we don't hang out with the other kids around here. Our parents say they're rats. They'd be a bad influence on us.
Yes, we're going to be brave and strong, like our dad. Right, Michael?
Of course you will. I have to get going. Keep practicing your marksmanship, boys.
Hello, Michael.
I have to get going.
Hello again. What can I get for you?
What do you sell here?
Anything you can eat or drink. For other types of goods, talk to the hunter directly. What do you need?
I could use some food.
You're in luck. We have some of these emergency food rations the authorities distributed among the inhabitants of the camp in the first weeks after the Great Wave. You know, a bunch of them just happened to fall into our hands. What do you have to offer in exchange?
Would a bottle of liquor do?
Let me see. It's a good brand of whiskey, but the bottle's been open, and there's a lot missing. I'd take it, but I'd need something more.
I'm afraid I have nothing more that can interest you.
Too bad, pal. Come back with something more, and the food's yours. You know how it works. We accept everything. Cash, jewelry, liquor, tobacco.
Hello, Michael.
I have to get going. Damn it! What's going on? It's amazing. Everything's changing again. Everything. Everything is mutating, and I haven't even moved. I don't understand. I don't understand anything.
Don't even think about touching anything in this house, rat. Haven't you done me and my family enough harm already? You're just a lousy thief, like all the other cockroaches around here. Get out of here.
No, wait, you're confused. I just wanted to clean up this mess a little. I just want to help you, okay?
Oh, yeah? Keep your hands off our things, you filthy rat. Understand?
Of course. Understood. Whew. A pack of filter cigarettes trapped under the drawer. I guess whoever looted this house didn't see them, or perhaps wasn't a smoker.
Hello, Michael.
I need your help, boys.
How can we help you, Michael?
I have to get something from inside your house. It's something I need so that I can help your father. Understand? But your mother is very agitated, and I need you to give me a hand with her. It's a mission.
What do you want us to do, Michael?
I need you to get your mother out of the house for a few minutes. Just long enough for me to go in and get what I need. Do you think you can do that?
Of course, we're big boys.
I'll owe you. I promise to give you a reward.
Okay, let's do it.
A mission.
Oh, my head! What the hell's going on? Oh, God! My head feels like it's gonna explode!
Michael, please, help us, help us. Please, remember, Beechwood Oracle.
Repent! It's the sun! Was it our fault? Did we do it? Yes! We did it!
Enough! Please! Enough!
Please, Michael, help us. Only you can do it. Remember, Beechwood Oracle.
Good God! What are these images? And that woman's voice? It's the same one that woke me up in the trailer. I'm trying to remember! And stop tormenting me! I hope Rod helps me find some answers. If not, I'll go mad. Absolutely mad.
Hello again. What can I get for you?
I could use some food.
You're in luck. We have some of these emergency food rations the authorities distributed among the inhabitants of the camp in the first weeks after the Great Wave. You know, a bunch of them just happened to fall into our hands. What do you have to offer in exchange?
I have this pack of cigarettes.
Virginia tobacco. There's not much of this in the camp. That's a good start. But it's not enough. The pack's been open and several cigarettes are missing. I'd need something more.
Would a bottle of liquor do?
Fantastic. I think that's a fair price. I'll take both of them. Here you go, pal. The food package is all yours. Enjoy it in good health.
Hello again.
They shot him! Those pigs shot my husband! And what are the three of us gonna do when my husband's gone? We'll lose everything! The house, the money, our privileges.
The three of you. I've already talked to your two boys out there.
Those two brats wear me down with their antics. I have to chase after them all the time.
They're just children.
What do you know, you rat? I have to run after them all the time. Those kids don't give me a minute's peace. It's exhausting.
I should be going, but I promise to help you, and I will. Give me that pass for getting out of the camp, and I'll get you some morphine for your husband.
I don't trust you, rat. First bring me food for my children, and then we'll talk about the pass.
Okay, I'll do it. Here, this is what I promised you.
That's all the food you brought? This will barely feed us for 2 days.
I'm sorry, it's very complicated getting more in the camp. I only wanted to show you that you can trust me, that I can help you.
That's what all you rats in this trash heap say? But in the end, only thing you're interested in is taking advantage of my husband and me.
I've held up my part of the bargain. Isn't that proof enough? Listen, let me have that pass to get out of the camp, and I promise I'll come back with the morphine you need to ease your husband's suffering.
Ah, okay. But you better hurry. Here.
What's this? A bracelet?
It's like an ID badge. Wear it and the soldiers will recognize you. It won't just get you out of the camp. It'll also help you avoid all kinds of problems with the army once you reach the city. I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing by giving it to you. Just don't betray me, you rat. Bring me that morphine for my husband and I promise you, I'll give you lots of money in return. Much more money than you could earn in a lifetime in this shithole.
No, that's not necessary. We never said anything about money.
I have to know you're coming back. I don't trust any of you. And I know that money is the only thing that'll make you keep your word. All you camp rats are alike. Now get out of my sight and don't make me regret this. And don't come back without my husband's morphine. There'll be a fat wad of cash waiting for you.
Okay. I can't quite...
Go through that gate, and I'll blow your head off with one shot, rat.
Do you need to get a closer look at what I have on my wrist?
Wait a minute. Look, he's got on one of those ID bracelets the camp moles wear. Those cockroaches are very useful to us in here. Lower your gun and let him leave.
You heard him. Get out of here, rat.
It looks like there are some chiseled stone structures sticking out of the water. What are they? The remains of columns, perhaps? And what are they doing sunk here in the middle of nowhere? It seems like a small fragment of one of them is loose. I suppose the rain has been flooding the pit little by little. This water is so dark you can't even see the bottom. I can't reach it from here. Maybe I should find a way to get to the bottom of this enormous... A few yards away, I can see a great mass of trash, mud, and plant matter that accumulated in there in the years since this water outlet was last cleaned. Ugh. Even from here, I can smell the stench coming from inside. Impossible. It's beyond my reach. The bars are keeping me from getting there. Thick bars at the end of the pipe block the opening to the outside. Extremely hard and solid, I'm afraid. Thick bars at the end extreme. From here I can see how the road leading out of the refugee camp splits into 3 paths. One leads to a kind of depression in the ground, another leads to a graded water outlet, and the third disappears into the distance, beyond the last hill. Could that be the road leading to the city? So, I enter the city. It welcomes me with its most merciless and bitter grimace. What I see before my eyes is not what I expected. Doomsday made it here, too, even if no one in the refugee camp knows it yet. Damn it. The city looks as bruised and battered by the catastrophe as the rest of us. What the hell is that old man trying to do with that enormous pair of bolt cutters? He can hardly get his hands around them.
Help me, please! Help me! Don't let them find me in the street after curfew. They'll take me to the refugee camp. Help me, please! But don't make any noise. There's a patrol just round the corner.
But what is it you need me to do?
It's almost curfew. I need a place to sleep. I need a place to hide, or they'll send me to the refugee camp. Don't you understand?
What is all this about a curfew?
At curfew, the soldiers want the streets cleared. And the way they see it, if you're out on the street after curfew, it means that you've got nowhere to go. You don't have a home. You don't belong here. And that makes you a rat. And so they take you to the refugee camp. I can't go to the camp. Understand? I can't go there.
You need a roof over your head, and you don't have anywhere to go.
I used to, but it doesn't exist anymore. I owned an apartment a few blocks from here. The block was badly damaged by the Great Wave, but it was still standing.
And what happened to your home?
This morning we had to evacuate the area in a hurry. We ran out in the streets with whatever we had on. Apparently, the foundation was starting to crumble. And a few hours later, all that was left of my home was a pile of smoking rubble, with 40 years of memories buried beneath it. But I can't let them take me to the camp. I need to get into another house before the curfew. Please, help me.
Okay, give me those bolt cutters. I'll see what I can do.
This house is empty, but the army has sealed it off. If I can just get this padlock off before curfew, I'll be safe. I need to get in here. But please, don't make too much noise. If the soldiers find us, they won't hesitate to kill us.
Impossible. I'm sorry. I can't do anything with this.
I need to get in there. I need to get in.
I'm looking for a place. Something like a pharmaceutical warehouse. Would you know anything about that?
I don't really know. There's a small medical center just outside the city limits. I suppose you mean that, right? They built it in a hurry, just knocked it together. After the Great Wave. No one really knows what it's for, but there are vehicles going in and out of the place all the time. Whatever they're doing in there, they're keeping it very secret. Not even my daughter would tell me what goes on inside.
Did you say your daughter?
Yes, my daughter. My little Uma. She works there as a nurse. I'm afraid she left me. I suppose she got tired of living with a frail, sick old man like me. Because one day she simply left the house, and I haven't seen her since. It's been months now. I think she was right to leave me. These times are hard enough. You don't want to burn yourself with someone like me.
I'm sorry. I can't help you.
Help me, please.
A dirty window at ground level for ventilation. It's the only opening this building's basement has to the outside. There's an advertising poster covering part of the glass at the moment. It's a poster advertising an insurance company. The slogan is, "Tomorrow comes today." There's something familiar about this poster. I'd even swear that I actually remember it. For the first time since I woke up, I can say that I can remember something from my former life. Something hazy. related to this image. But what is it? It's a poster, Edward. There's something. Three people warming themselves by the fire. They stare into the flames, as if their thoughts were also burning in that rusty old drum.
Hello, friend. You look lost. Come over by the fire.
It's dying down, but maybe it'll last until curfew.
As long as those uniformed psychopaths don't decide to end our little get-together first, of course.
Hey, look! One of those magic bracelets from the camp. They say that place is a real hellhole. A kind of living death. So, you've come back from the dead. Do they call you Lazarus?
Well, you could put it that way. You were saying something about a curfew. What time does it start exactly?
Well, it depends on the mood of the soldiers in this zone. But you know it's time to go home when they start taking their guns out of their holsters.
Today they're extremely jumpy. I don't think it'll be long before they start insulting people and hitting them with their rifle butts.
You guys are awfully hard on them. It's just their crude way of showing us affection.
Oh, shut up. In any case, you don't have to worry. That bracelet means you don't have to hide from them. You know, that's one of the privileges that comes with it.
And you? Do you people have to hide?
We try to stay out of their way. The first rule is, be home before curfew. Anyone who isn't gets dragged off to refugee camp. That's one of the strictest laws the Great Wave imposed upon this city.
And do you know how things are elsewhere? Do you get news from outside?
I'm afraid not. With no communications or transportation, and with the army on every corner, we are totally cut off.
Who cares anyway? When you don't know from one day to the next if you're gonna be alive, there's no time to worry about what happens 100, 1,000, or 100,000 miles away.
I understand. Why are you afraid of the soldiers? I'd heard that things function better here.
I don't know where you heard that, friend, but whoever told you that was lying. Here, things are very ugly and getting uglier every day. Everything's in short supply: water, food, medicine.
We have a surplus of just two things: misery and violence. Life is cheap here, and getting cheaper all the time, especially since the army took over.
The army. I see. And what happened to the other authorities? The politicians? The laws?
Those are distant memories from the old world, my dear. Get them out of your head, because all that collapsed like a house of cards. Since the Great Wave, no one's got any plan, strategy. We're all adrift.
He's right. The most reliable thing we have left is what you see around the corner. Armed teenagers in uniform on the streets, on the rooftops, just as scared as we are, or more, and shooting anything that moves.
I think our common destiny is to finally die of starvation, of disease, or boredom. I don't know which of the three options I find the most cruel. Who knows? Maybe the most sensible thing is to organize a group excursion and break into Suicide Park.
Suicide Park? Don't call it that. It's not funny. That name's as stupid as that hospital they built in such a hurry next to it. It's crazy. The entire city is starving and sick, and the soldiers keep those medical facilities locked up like Fort Knox.
But what good is it having medical facilities if no one can use them? I don't understand.
No one does, friend, but that's the way it is. I don't know why anyone would want to go into that building, but I can assure you that they're not going to get treated for anything in there, not even for a miserable cold.
Besides, it's a real fortress. The person will be more likely to come out sick from an overdose of gunpowder and lead. You know how it is, dear. There's no cure for love or death. Hey, I like that last phrase. It would make a good opening line for a story.
Oh, will you shut up for once, Ramon? Don't pay any attention to him. In the old world, he earned his living writing stories, and he still thinks that all that waste paper might someday be useful after the Great Wave.
And in fact, it is. A good deal of that scrap paper is fueling this bonfire right now, dear. So I can consider my literary career to have been worthwhile.
Did you say Suicide Park? Someone in the camp told me about that place.
And the first dark stars come out to hang from the sky. We could sit and count them together, you and I.
When the sun departs from Suicide Park. Yes, I recognize the song. But what the hell is it? Is there really a place with that name?
Yes, it exists. After the Great Wave, and when things were starting to get really ugly here, the weakest among us eased their suffering with a bullet, by overdosing, or by jumping from high places. You know how it is. All those dark stars had a hard time finding a reason to go on living.
There was a terrible wave of suicides, and there still is.
The problem is at some point a problem arose. How should I put it? A serious logistical problem. Access to drugs and firearms became practically impossible. So the easiest thing was to grab a rope or a belt and go to Suicide Park after dark.
There was a time when it was hard to find a free branch anywhere in the park.
The suicides in the area multiplied at such a rate that the army closed down the park. They said for public health reasons.
For months, the only thing blooming in that park were the corpses of the hanged. The place became more like a theme park. Lots of fun for everyone.
I told you not to make jokes about that. Don't you have any respect for anything?
Of course not. That was one of the many things I lost in the Great Wave. And one of the things I missed the least, believe me.
Thanks for the chat.
Thanks for the company, friend.
It's the silhouette of the soldiers guarding the street from around the corner. It seems like those uniformed psychopaths' rifles are projected onto each and every corner of the city. The traffic in this part of the city must have been especially heavy, but now you can barely hear the sound of the few army vehicles still circulating in the surrounding areas. It looks like this heating technology and their emissions are just as toxic here as they are. Judging from what remains of the stained glass windows and the murals, this pile of rubble must have been a place of worship before the Great Wave struck. Now it's one of the most badly damaged buildings in the area. There are hardly any walls still standing.
Send us a sign, Lord. We need a sign from you.
Hey, wait a minute. I know that voice.
Are we guilty of arousing your rage? Did we do it? Speak with your tongue of fire, Lord. Purge us with unrelenting justice. Send us a sign. Is this our doing? Are you punishing us for our arrogance? Unleash your thunderous voice, Lord. Release us from this intolerable uncertainty. Did we do it? Send us a sign.
I'm getting a strong impression that man's a fanatic and a little bit deranged, but his sermon made me curious. What could he mean by, "we did it"?
Illuminate us with your fiery voice, Lord.
A handful of tiny
Send
shards
us
of
a
brightly colored
sign.
glass. The remains of the stained glass window on this side of the church, destroyed by the Great Wave.
The thunderous voice of your angels through the gash. That...
Oh no. Here comes that sensation again. It's like floating in a dense liquid, while everything around me is transformed.
Good God. I think I'm starting to lose my mind. A few parishioners listened to the words of the preacher, mesmerized. Although I'm sure that, like me, they can't decipher the meaning of his mystical rants either. That must be Reverend Blake, the preacher I heard about in the camp. I don't understand a word of that man's sermon, and I'm afraid the other faithful don't either. Could that be the reason why everyone reveres him so much? What was formerly the entrance to a subway stop is now a bunker reinforced with bricks and cement. A moldy sign says, "Subway service suspended until further notice." I imagine the train tunnels were flooded or ruined after the Great Wave. A metal sign bolted to the wall. It's the logo of the local subway system, and from what I can see, one of the edges is slightly detached. Let's see. I can try to rip it off. Nothing. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get it off with my hands.
Illuminate us with your fiery
I'm not going to interrupt
voice,
him in the middle of his
Lord.
sermon.
Send
That would
us
be
a
rude.
sign. The thunderous voice of your angels.
Seated on these
through the
disarranged
gash.
pews,
That is
some
your
people are listening to
sign.
the preacher. Others just nod off. I guess they don't have anywhere else to go.
The ruins of the temple, the lion above the flames. We still have time.
The only statue in this place still standing. It's Saint... what's his name? Patron saint of... who knows what.
Did we do it?
I'm afraid that if I
Are
ever
we
was
the
a
guilty
believer,
ones?
all that information has also been blanked. The catastrophe caused a lot of damage to the statue's pedestal.
The thunderous voice
The fact
of
that the
your
statue is still
angels
standing
through
is
the
a miracle.
gash. That is your sign.
This column fragment must have fallen off one of the walls during the catastrophe. Now it's keeping the pedestal of the statue company.
The thunderous voice of your angel.
Closed for public health reasons is written on this piece of wood nailed to the stump. Wait a minute. Health? With no A? It's one of the ways into the city's sewer system. The Great Wave wrecked this place. Did the same thing happen down there? So, let's see. Impossible. It's not that it's super heavy. It's that there's hardly any place to insert your fingers to lift this manhole cover. These are the remains of the fish that used to swim around in the fountain. It looks like the catastrophe caught them by surprise, too. Ugh. The smell they give off is nauseating.
The thunderous voice of your angels through the gash. That is your sign.
Let's see. If I wedge one of the ends of the plank under the statue's pedestal, the other part will rest directly on the base of the toppled
thunderous
column.
voice of your angels through the gash. That is your sign. We're waiting, Lord. Did we do it? Illuminate us. Send us a sign with your just and vengeful arm. Is this our fault? Listen! It's the fiery breath of God. The Lord has sent us his sign. And I was right. It is all our fault. We did it, and we have aroused his fury.
But what the hell's going on here?
Look, that's the sign. Forgive us, Lord. Forgive us. Repent, all ye sinners.
It's the atmospheric phenomenon I've been hearing so much about. That infernal sound coming from the crack in the sky. It's terrifying.
That is the sign. We did it. Forgive us, Lord. Forgive us. My children, God has spoken to us with his darkest voice. Haven't you heard him? That there's still time. All is not lost. We still have time. Salvation lies in the place where it all began, in the ruins, at the source. We must return to the ruins of the temple. We must return. We must.
This enormous stone cross casts a giant shadow across the aisle of the church. Perhaps that wasn't the original intention, but the result is pretty gloomy and menacing. Among all the fragments of the stained glass window scattered on the floor, there's one big piece of glass. Well, look at that. Next to this enormous hunk of glass, the colored glass shards I picked up earlier look ridiculous. I'd better get rid of them. Hello. I heard your sermon and...
Yeah, God has shown us his sign. He has finally spoken to all of us. With his thunderous voice, he has revealed the unknown. We did it. It's all our fault. We did it. But there's still time. All is not lost. There's still time to avoid it. The head of the lion above the flames holds the key to everything.
But what is it we did?
Time is the will of God. It is his heart and his hammer. The centuries and the ages belong solely to him. The celestial empire is a divine clock. Time rotates around God. Its hands are his angels and archangels. Now I see it all clearly. How could we have been so stupid? Our arrogance had enraged him. That's what we did.
This man is definitely crazy. Nothing he says makes any sense.
I beg you, leave my brother in peace. He's very upset.
We did what? I'm sorry, but I didn't understand a word you just said.
We sullied his name. We didn't know that each second is a drop of Christ's blood, and that only he can reign over the interval, over the infinite mysticism of the fragment. Only he can reign over time with his incandescent omnipotence, and we were unable to see it. And now he is enraged, and we're to blame. That's what we did.
I still don't understand what it is we did.
Each cycle is a fluorescent gust of God's will, don't you see? Can't you see it? He reigns over the days and the hours from the inscrutable luminescence of his dwelling place. And we are just instants that slip through his fingers. Time is his, and his alone. And we tried to wrest it from him. That's what we did.
But what is it we did?
Time is the will of God. It is his heart and his hammer. The centuries and the ages belong solely to him. The celestial empire is a divine clock. Time rotates around God. Its hands are his angels and archangels. Now I see it all clearly. How could we have been so stupid? Our arrogance had enraged him. That's what we did.
What signs are you referring to?
The dark angels of God clamor madly through the open wound that is bleeding the kingdom of heaven dry. Haven't you heard? They were speaking with a thunderous voice. God is furious. That is his sign.
I suppose in his delirium, the man has mistaken that strange sound coming from the gash in the sky left by the great wave as a sign from the heavens. He's definitely lost his mind.
Please be so kind as to leave us in peace. Can't you see that my brother is very agitated?
I assume you're referring to the atmospheric phenomenon in the sky caused by the Great Wave.
No, no! It's the stench of human arrogance that made the gears of the gates of hell grind. And now they're opening up like a festering wound to swallow us all. Can it be that you haven't heard it? That is his sign.
Excuse me, but I don't think that was a divine sign.
We've lacerated the sacred skin of the shroud God enveloped us in. We've betrayed him. We've stabbed him with our infinite arrogance. And you can see the mark etched on the heavens. Through that gash, Lucifer has shouted our name from on high. Satan is calling each and every one of us by name. Can't you hear it? That is his sign.
Tell me, what is it that we can still prevent?
The wrath of God, the destruction of man. There's still time. We did it, but we still have time. The key is in the ruins of the temple. We have to find the ruins of the temple. Look for the head of the lion above the flames. Bring me the head of the lion above the flames while there's still time.
But this church is already in ruins. It hardly has any walls or a foundation left. You're already in the ruins of the temple.
No, you're mistaken. Bring me the head of the lion above the flames.
That's enough. Stop tormenting my brother. He's exhausted.
The head of the lion above the flames? That sounds absurd. It makes no sense. I think it's best that I leave you in peace.
Yes, leave my brother in peace.
There's still time. There's still time. Bring me the head of the lion above the flames.
It's not that securely attached to the wall, but I need something stronger to tear this sign. I hate the grating sound of glass being scratched. It jangles my nerves, so I won't do it. Judging from its girth, this giant must have lived for hundreds of years before someone got the bright idea of cutting it down. Now the stump is guarding the entrance to the park. These are the remains. You can smell these dead creatures from several yards away. I have no intention of picking up those rotten fish with my hands, to say nothing of putting them in my pocket. Southside Park. Would you believe it? This must be the famous suicide park I've been hearing so much about. Huh. The pun is as witty as it is macabre. The park is closed down, and the front gate is locked shut. If I want to get in there, it won't be through the gate. This fence protects the compound on all four sides. As impenetrable and menacing as the one around the refugee camp. It seems like barbed wire barricades are the only architecture possible in this new world. It's rather disconcerting to see such a small building surrounded by such extreme security measures. Could this be the medical center people have been telling me about? Strange. The soil here seems darker and less packed than the soil around it. In fact, the mud in this part of the ground is a bit damp and mushy. My fingers even leave marks in it when I touch it. I'll do this very carefully, so that the glass doesn't break in two. Perfect. The hole I've dug is big enough to get to the other side of the fence. Okay, here we go. Under the gate into Suicide Park. Good God. There are dozens, hundreds of corpses hanging from the branches. What could have drawn all these people here? What kind of pain? What kind of desperation brought them here? These are the corpses of ordinary people who were living their ordinary lives in their ordinary little worlds up to a very short time ago. Could any of them have imagined meeting an end like this back then? Forgotten and nameless, swaying in the breeze like marionettes. And all those savages in uniforms did was close the park. They didn't even bother to cut their bodies down from the trees. I'm afraid that tonight, there are too many dark stars to count in Suicide Park. Although the crows have already done a thorough job on him, from what's left, I'd say that the corpse belongs to a young man, barely of legal age, one of the many dark stars in the park. That strikes me as disrespectful, and I don't think it would do anything for me. With the noose around its neck, the corpse's body sways in the wind like a rag doll. Impossible. One of its ends is tied to the crowbar, and the other... well, the other is also tied to something. An iron crowbar buried like a stake. Right now, the other end is around the neck of a corpse.
Wait a minute. That guy is... the suicide victim who was hanging from this tree. No, don't do it, please! No! Good God, I saw him hang himself.
This vegetation is so dense that all you can see are some flattened metal posts in there. There's no doubt that nature has taken over this corner of the city. So much so that I'm afraid that this is the end of my little stroll. The trees and bushes are so close together here that I can hardly push the branches to one side with my hands. The thorns in these bushes are jabbing into me like metal spikes. I'm not going to be able to open up a path this way. The crowbar fits perfectly into the hole in the manhole cover. Wait a minute. I'm not going to climb down any further. It's totally dark in there, and it would be crazy to go into these sewers without any light. I'm afraid I can't do that. Maybe with the help of the crowbar, I can get the subway sign off the wall. Damn it! I've managed to tear it down, but the subway sign is broken in two. A subway sign split in two. That's what happens when you try to rip something off a wall without the right tools. The subway sign is already broken in two. I doubt I'd accomplish... It's useless. Better not. That would be one way of getting into the house. But the noise of breaking glass would alert the soldiers posted nearby. I'd rather not think about what those savages would do to this old man. And me. Out of the question. I could... I agree that violence is sometimes the shortest path between 2 points, but considering how heavy this padlock and the chain are, I'm not sure that brute force is going to help me open this door. I doubt I'd accomplish anything using the pieces of the metal sign with. Impossible. It's beyond my reach. It doesn't look like it's having any effect. What for? I'd only end up breaking the glass, cutting my hand with. As dead as that tree is, it still looks strong enough to tie the rope to. This hole in the ground, the distance to the... I can't reach it from here. Maybe I should find a way to get to the bottom of this enormous... Before I go down, I'll leave the heavy stuff here, in case the rope doesn't support my weight. Underneath the surface, there must be many more of these stone things I see sticking out of the water. No doubt they're the remains of a structure that sank here. It seems like a small fragment of one of them is loose. This hole in the ground is steep walls of mud and earth. The distance to the bottom is several yards. How the hell was this cesspit formed? I suppose the rain has been flooding the pit. This water is so... I'll get my stuff. The head of the lion above the flames. I think this must be yours.
The head of the lion. The head of the lion above the flames. The ruins of the temple still exist. Salvation is still possible. We can prevent it. We can still prevent it. Don't you understand? The annihilation of time. The wrath of God for our arrogance. There's still time. I have to return to the ruins of the temple. I have to go back to the ruins of the temple.
Wait a minute! Whew. There's no question in my mind. This man is a complete lunatic. She meditates in silence, resigned and exhausted. Considering the mental state of Reverend Blake, I guess it falls to her to take care of him night and day. When Reverend Blake ran out, he dropped this strange, improvised cross. This man seems totally possessed. Why would I want to do something like that? Use that with this stick?
I need to get in here.
Okay, give me those bolt cutters. I'll see what I can do.
This house was empty, but the army has seen. If I can, I need to. If the soul.
Impossible.
I need.
I'm sorry.
Help me.
A dirty window at ground level for ventilation. It's the only opening this building's basement has to the outside. Okay, let's see if I can open this. Got it. Blah. It looked better from outside. Rainwater has seeped into the car. Now it's damp and mildewed, and it seems like the seat cover on the driver's side is a little loose. Let's see. I'm sure that if I tug on it a little... Good. The upholstery came off along with one of the elastic bands that was holding it to the seat.
Oh no. It's starting again. It's amazing. Everything's changing. Everything. Everything is mutating. And I haven't even moved. I don't understand. I don't understand anything.
I don't think doing this... This elastic band doesn't fit. This quilted fabric fits the size of the window perfectly. Okay, let's try this. And let's cross our fingers that the seat cover absorbs the noise of the breaking glass. If the soldiers next door find me, they'll blow my head off without bothering to ask questions.
You've done it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm safe now. God bless you, stranger. You saved my life.
Take care of yourself, old man. And I don't have to tell you, don't open the door to strangers. It's the pair of bolt cutters the old man could barely get his hands around. Once he's safe, he won't be needing them anymore. Even if I could. I have no doubt this subway's... Better not. Though, even if I could. Why would I want to do something? Even if I could. No. And I'm afraid we don't have much... So, I just made a primitive homemade slingshot. They could be the perfect projectile, but these nails would end up shredding the rubber band on the slingshot. Besides, something tells me I'm not very good at using these things. That wouldn't serve any purpose. Let's see what's on the other side of this hedge.
No! Please! These visions! My head!
You won't get any of his things. I won't allow it. Do you hear me?
Michael, is that you? Thank God we found you. It's me, Chris. Don't you recognize me? But there is a solution, Michael. All is not lost. There is still a possibility of salvation for us. For each and every one of us.
You have to stop this, Michael. You have to quit.
I can't do it!
It's destroying us, don't you see? It's killing us.
It's that demon inside me! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. These visions are getting more intense all the time. The pain is unbearable. Who's Chris? Salvation is still possible, he said. Could that be true? And once again, that female voice has been haunting me since I woke up. Who is she? Why was she so distressed? What the hell happened to us? Or is going to happen to us? More of that barbed wire that adorns all the city's buildings. If I get up close enough, I can hear a slight buzz, a sure sign that this fence is electrified. There's a flat metal object buried in the bushes, but I can't see it very well from this side of the fence. I have no intention of sticking my arms through this electrified fence. As a suicide option, I think I'd rather use the park next door. I don't think I'd gain anything by using this here. I have no intention of sticking my arms through this electrified. As a suicide option, the trees and bushes conceal structures where hundreds and hundreds of metal barrels are being stored. Whatever's inside them, there must be thousands of gallons of it down there.
Hello, Michael.
You did a very good job with your mission. I owe you.
Yes, our dad would be proud.
Are you going to give us a reward, Michael?
Of course. You deserve it. Give me time to bring you something.
Yeah!
I have to get going.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, kids.
We got Mom out of the house. Now what about that reward?
Yes. I think I have something you might like. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. They're just kids. And this could get them into trouble. I know perfectly well what they're going to use it for, but their aim is amazing. And a little commotion on the camp fence could be a good thing for everyone. Besides, they want to do something for their father. And those pigs at the gate deserve a surprise.
What is it, Michael? Tell us, what is it?
I know it's something you're really going to like. Here you go. It's a slingshot.
It's a slingshot!
Thank you, Michael. With this, we'll be able to hit the watchtowers.
Come on, let's try it.
That'll teach you pigs.
Attention, all units in Sector 12. Report immediately to the North Watchtower. I repeat, report immediately to the North Watchtower.
What's going on? I don't know. It must be something serious. Come on, let's go.
You hit him!
Haha, yes.
So what do we do now?
I don't know. We've got to get out of here. Quickly, run!
I better take this with me. I'm not going to pick them up. I'm sure it took the kids a long time to collect all those rocks for their target practice. Besides, I bet my aim is worse than theirs. A pile of stones and pebbles. It looks like they do just fine with. Maybe this leather saddlebag contains tools for motorcycle maintenance. Like Well, I'm sure I could drive it. I have no idea how these machines work. No trace of tools. Inside the saddlebag, there's just a pair of worn motorcycle gloves. From the color of the seat and body, I'd say it's army property. Aw, shit. The key's not in the ignition. One of the soldiers on the sentry duty must have it. Anyway, I should have figured as much. I refuse. The entire world has collapsed. Why would I care in the least about leaving fingerprints here? Okay, I'll wear the gloves to cut the electrified wire. Perfect. Let's see what's down here. It's a trapdoor, and it looks like it hasn't been used in a long, long time. This door leads to a dingy back room. What the hell could be in here? I can hear the buzz of electricity coming from inside, but I can't figure out anything more without a little more light.
What is this place? Where the devil am I? It seems like the small building at the ground level is just camouflage. The most important part is here underground. Are all of them dissolved? How many patients can there be packed in here? Dozens? Hundreds? This is horrible!
A container covered in dust. It's not properly closed. The label says hydrofluoric acid. It's the only exit on this side of the catwalk. A ventilation hole covered with a grate. It doesn't look promising, but any place is better than this gateway to hell where I am now. Let's see if this grate can be removed. Perfect. It looks like this hole leads to a passageway on the other side. It's an enormous, wrinkled plastic bag that looks like it wants to escape from the cart's trash can. It's sagging from the weight and so dilapidated that I doubt this janitor's cart has many more trips left in it. The future is in our hands. Collaborate, rebuild, report. From the text, I say this poster must have been part of a government campaign launched after the Great Wave. There's a bunch of papers stuck to the door of the closet. There seems to be some type of bureaucratic form among them. Military personnel, GPS, targets, rifles. I'm afraid what's described on these pages doesn't have very much to do with typical medical activities in a hospital. The handle that opens this rusty monstrosity looks worn out. It looks like this closet is used frequently, and with very little care. A tiny lock is preventing me from opening the door, and despite its size, it seems to be very strong. It won't open that way. I'm afraid I can't do that. I'm not gonna open it this way. I don't see any cracks in the door big enough to get any leverage. Maybe a professional burglar could do it, but I can never pick this lock with just a handful of rusty nails. I'd rather not do that. The acid would do its corrosive work, and then I wouldn't have it anymore. I don't think there's any... I can't use... I don't think... I don't... I'd rather not... Better not. I'd rather... No doubt... I'm not gonna... With the acid, I'd only end up ruining... Unlike his neighbors, this door is hanging open. All I see inside are remnants of stickers and torn photographs. It looks like someone left in a hurry, without even saying goodbye. We must be very deep underground, and the blades of this fan are barely turning at half speed. That explains why the air down here is almost unbreathable. More of that official propaganda. Your silence is the enemy. Help the cleanup brigades is the slogan of this poster. The floor of this place is one big revolting ashtray. It's a little disconcerting to note that cleanliness is not exactly a top priority in the hospital. This glass cabinet has dozens of medications stored inside, classified by type: antibiotics, anti-inflammatory drugs, diuretics, and, painkillers. Locked, of course. I'm starting to get annoyed with this sense of ownership I see in all the people with closets, lockers, and other storage furniture in this city. I'd rather use a key to open this case, but I'm a bit short on time, so...
Who is it? Who's there?
Oh, excuse me,
What are you doing here? Have you come to steal something? Take one more step and I'll call the soldiers.
No, wait, please, don't do that.
Security, this is Nurse Uma Grundy. I need you to come right away.
No, wait! You can't turn me in. Those soldiers will kill me if they find me here.
You should have thought of that before you walked into this trap. You'd better save your breath and get out of here fast, before those savages get here.
Steal? No, you're wrong about me. I'm not a thief.
You just broke the glass on one of our pharmacy cabinets. What am I supposed to think?
There's a reasonable explanation for all of this, I promise you.
You'd better be convincing when those soldiers get here. I can hear them coming now. Come on, get out of here now while you still have time.
I thought the first priority of people in the medical profession was to save lives, and you're going to get me killed.
Don't you dare judge me. You have no idea what we're going through in here. Our priority is our patients, and yours should be to get out of here as fast as you can, if you value your life.
Wait a minute. Did you say Uma? Nurse Uma?
Yes, that's my name.
Wait, please don't turn me in. I know your father. I saved his life just a few hours ago. They were going to deport him to the refugee camp, but I was able to stop it.
My God, did you say my father? Tell me, how is he? Has anything happened to him?
Don't worry, Uma. He's safe. He told me about you and your work in this place. He was worried. He'll want to know that you're all right. Wait, please don't turn me in.
This is Nurse Uma Grundy. It turned out to be a false alarm. You don't have to come, thank you.
Thank you, Uma. You did the right thing. My name is Michael.
But now you should explain why you burst in here like that. What are you looking for, Michael?
I came to get medicine. I need a cure for the dissolved.
Cure? There's no such thing. You won't find it here or anywhere else. The authorities distributed a memo among the medical staff months ago. I'm sure you can still find a copy of it around here somewhere. It told us that they've definitely abandoned the search for a medicine. You made a mistake risking your life to get in here. The only thing we store here is pain. This place is a tomb for those poor infected devils, but also for the people who work here. I'm sorry, Michael. The dissolved are condemned to death.
No, that can't be. There has to be a solution. A cure. Oh, man. Poor Rod. Poor Colin. But I heard in the refugee camp, they said a cure is being produced and stored here. Well, if that's not the case, what's the purpose of a building like this?
The Army deliberately keeps that rumor about a possible cure alive. You see, as long as people still have some hope left, it is much easier to control the city more effectively. But it's a lie.
I understand.
This medical center was built just after the Great Wave, taking advantage of some abandoned underground facilities. That was when the authorities were beginning to work on their project to rebuild the city. They told us the building was going to be used to take in the first patients. Of course, we had no idea the disease would become so widespread. I left my job in a clinic downtown to come here. I wanted to lend a hand. They demanded total confidentiality about our work to avoid causing panic in the population. Not even my father knew what we were really doing in here.
Yes. He told me that when I asked him about this place.
At first, we treated the patients with great care. There was medicine to ease their suffering and even research into a possible cure. Everything was going smoothly.
And then what happened?
Things started to go wrong. When the number of patients multiplied, we couldn't keep up. And then we began to run out of even the most basic supplies. And that was when the Army took over complete control of the center.
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
Then they sealed off the building. No one was allowed to leave, not even us. We doctors and nurses have been shut in here for months, isolated without even a glimpse of daylight. They say it's for security reasons. It's for our own safety. Oh yeah, now our medical care is limited to wrapping up the patients in plastic bags, like the ones they use to transport cadavers, and then simply waiting for them to die, doing what little we can do to ease their suffering. Then we dispose of their remains, dissolving the black bags in acid for decontamination. And that's about it. That's all we can do with the resources we have. And sometimes it's just too much to bear.
Condemned to die. I heard their cries of pain out there. What really happens to the dissolved?
These people suffer the most excruciating pain and die in the most horrible way I've ever seen. The first symptoms are bouts of nausea and fainting, which become more frequent and prolonged as the disease progresses, until in the end their entire metabolism enters a state of shock. Then their entire cell structure dissolves. It simply disintegrates. There's no medical explanation. It just happens. But there's something even stranger about the disease.
What could be stranger than what you just told me?
The dissolved become erratic, unpredictable, eccentric. They're uncontrollable. That's why the army fears them. They're afraid of their unpredictable behavior, but also of their strange messages. So the sole function of this place is to keep them locked away, hidden, and under the army's control, until death takes them off their hands, one by one. It's also why people who harbor the dissolved are punished. And it's also the reason for the existence of the cleanup brigades.
But I thought they were just controlling the patients to keep the disease from spreading.
But that's a lie, a blatant lie. The spread of the disease is accelerating. The number of cases is multiplying every day. But it's not contagious. We doctors and nurses have been treating the sick for months, in direct contact with them and their remains. And the rate of contagion among us is no higher than out there. The army is lying.
But then, how is the disease spread?
We don't know, Michael. No one knows. What we do know is that it's not caused by direct contact with the victims. There's another reason for the Army's secrecy about the dissolved. Fear. It's human nature to fear the unknown. We tend to panic when faced with something we don't understand. And this damned disease is more than any of us can handle.
And what is it that makes the dissolved so unpredictable and dangerous?
They know, Michael. You probably think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, they know. They talk about events no one else knows about. They sense things. They bring back information from the places they go. And they talk to the dead there, Michael. They communicate with the dead. They know, Michael. That's all.
They're just sick people, Uma.
No! They're more than just ordinary sick people. You wouldn't talk like that if you had been living with them, and their messages and their prophecies, all these months.
Wait a minute. Did you just say the dissolved make prophecies?
Let me tell you a story. When I first came to the center, I became friendly with a patient, a 13-year-old girl. All the time I was taking care of her, she never stopped chatting. She told me all about the underground highways. She said she went there every day.
Underground highways?
She said they all went there when they lost consciousness. Obviously, I felt great pity for the girl, but in time I also came to feel tremendous fear. I was afraid of that poor, hopeless child. Her visions, her dreams, her messages terrified me. And then one night she sat down next to another patient, an older woman who looked surprisingly healthy. According to our calculations, this woman still had a few months to live. The woman had just lost consciousness. "Leave me alone with her," the girl said to me. "It won't be long now." And she took the woman's hand. And just seconds later, the woman started to dissolve, shrieking and writhing in pain, until there was nothing left of her but a puddle of brown, viscous liquid. The girl turned to me and said, "I knew she was leaving us, and I didn't want her to go alone. That would have been very sad, wouldn't it, Uma?" The girl's face was still dripping with the remains of the patient. She knew what was going to happen, Michael. She saw it. From then on, my fear became uncontrollable. I felt defenseless next to her.
I understand.
Finally, my panic was so great that I refused to go anywhere near her. And I even, God forgive me, I felt secretly relieved when she herself finally dissolved. They know, Michael, and that's why they're so dangerous to the people in power now.
The cleanup brigades. I've seen how they behave.
They're savages. I despise them. They're like predatory animals, heartless and unscrupulous. The rest of the staff refuses to share the facilities with them, so their lockers are out in the hallway. That's where they keep everything they need for their hunting expeditions. The GPSs, the disease detection tests, their ID badges. Each unit is made up of 2 soldiers, 1 doctor and 1 nurse. I mean, doctors and nurses collaborating with those bloodthirsty animals. But then they say, what do you want? It's our job, and somebody's got to do it.
Yes, that phrase sounds familiar. It's bone-chilling. Police and criminals using exactly the same words to justify their actions. You gotta do what you gotta do. That seems to be the slogan of the executioners of this new world.
Talk to my father, Michael. Tell him that I'm all right, that he shouldn't worry, that we'll be seeing each other soon, very soon.